SOTC 27, chapter 27 is called the flip side of faith. Which for some people is the absolute worst side of faith, because that's where you have to wait, right? And for people who want to jump out and go, having to wait is kind of a drag. But you have to keep the faith going, whether you're moving or whether you're sitting still. It's like this stupid bag. You just gotta keep it going, right? You gotta keep the bag going. So 27, the flip side, like I just said, with the speed bag, you just got to keep it going. You got to keep the rhythm. You got to keep it going. How do you stay in rhythm when you're sitting around, sucking on a lollipop or whatever, man? I mean, we want to be out pushing the kingdom. You want to be out building. You want to be out moving. You want to be out creating, and suddenly, you're in a spot where you have to wait and nothing seems to be happening. So the first thing that happens is, for a lot of people, is they doubt God's word. Now, I hate to talk about the flip side of faith, man. I really do. Because everything I talk about to any of you is the same thing that comes back on me. And the fact of the matter is, talking about the flip side of faith is dangerous because there's so many million people out there that never do anything. And they claim certain verses in the Bible that justifies doing nothing. And so when you talk about the flip side of faith, and you talk about sometimes you have to wait on the Lord, there's millions of people that aren't supposed to wait on the Lord. They're supposed to get up and move and get out there, and yet they're waiting. And they grab these verses like that say, the safety and the multitude of counsel, and that a man weighs the cost before he starts to build a building. Those verses are accurate, but they're not for everybody all the time at every instance. And 99% of the people who don't want to do anything, they grab those verses and they use them to justify doing nothing. So I hate talking about the flip side of faith, and this is a tough chapter, man, to talk about. But we're sitting here in the SOTC gym. We got a great gym here for all the guys that go overseas and do different things and ride their motorcycles and witness for Christ and lead people to the kingdom. We come in here, we work out together, we box together, we do all kinds of things together, building a team, right? And sometimes just having some activities and being around other brothers while you're waiting can be a big help to you. But back to the point of the flip side of faith is faith when you have to sit and do nothing. When God's spoken to you and you've moved out and then suddenly nothing seems to be happening. That's the hardest place in the world for me to be, because I just have to be moving. It seems to me, I've always believed that the very worst thing that any man could do to another man is to bore him. Poke me with needles, do whatever you're going to do to me, punch me in the mouth, but don't bore me. Being bored is like the worst thing on the planet. So what happens when the Lord tells you that he wants you to wait on him? It's like, okay, well, you're thinking maybe, yeah, cool, that's cool, a couple of days, yeah, sure, I'll wait. But what happens when 6 months goes by? There's a verse in chapter 27 that talks about Paul when he was stuck at this place in the ocean when they were on their way to Rome, and the captain wanted to get out and get going. And Paul said, no, man, God says, we need to wait here because there's danger out there. But nobody wanted to wait. And they all got shipwrecked. Well, one of the points that we make in chapter 27 is, if those cats on that boat, if those sailor guys, if they knew that in a few hours they were going to be in the dark out with a crashed boat, drowning on their way to the beach, trying to hang on to the last breath of life in the cold ocean, if they knew for sure that was coming, they'd have been happy to wait. The fact of the matter is, we can't see the future, but God can. So when he says that he wants you to wait on him, wait in faith. This is the flip side of faith, man. The most parts of faith, you're stepping out and you're tearing down mountains. But then there's times when God says, well, I want you to sit and wait. There's a verse in the Bible about David again where he was fighting the Philistines, and he said, hey, God, should I go get these cats? Should I take them down? Will you give them to me? God said, oh, yeah, you go get them. You for sure get them. So he went out and he just kicked butt on all of them, just wholesale slaughter, man. So now he's coming back a couple of days later and he says, hey, God, should I go get these cats again? Are you going to give them to me? And the Lord said, no, you wait. So David says, well, wait. He's sitting there thinking to himself, and here's what the Lord said. He said, David, wait until you hear the sound of soldiers marching on top of the mulberry trees, and then attack. I would have said, what? soldiers marching on top of the mulberry trees. But see, David was hip to the fact that he served a supernatural, awesome God that could do anything. He could have said, wait till you see some pigs going by that are flying, man, and he would have said, okay. So no matter what it is, if the Lord speaks to you and says, I've got something for you, and it may not seem like it makes any sense, like soldiers marching on top of the mulberry trees, but just hang back, kick back, wait on me, and when the time is right, then we'll strike together, okay? It's called the flip side of faith, the side of faith where you have to trust Him. But just like that speed bag, you got to keep it going. You got to keep it going. If you're moving or if you're waiting, whatever it is, you keep your eyes on Jesus. You keep it going. You keep it going. You keep it going. I hope that helps you.